Welcome back to OpenLine. We are talking politics, and we're talking about the Hispanic vote. How will that bloc vote in the upcoming midterms and the upcoming presidential election? And what we're learning is it's not a uniform thing, and it hasn't been for a long time. But which way might voters lean, Hispanic voters? We have with us Reverend Tommy Vallejos. He is chairman of Latinos for Tennessee. That is a conservative group. He makes no bones about that. He is the first Latino ever elected to political office, county commissioner, right, in Montgomery County, in all of Tennessee. And so thank you for being with us. We're going to take some calls here. Let's go to Joe. Hello, Joe.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, Tommy, good to see you on television there, and got a question for you. My area I'm familiar with, up through Montgomery County, down through Davidson and over in Williamson and that kind of thing. And you and I were in the Army back here in the 80s about the same time, and had a lot of Latinos in there with us, you know, and lots of the community. But it looks to me, I'm going to tell you honestly, in the last 20 years, I've worked with more Chinese people than I have Latinos. It looks like the population is getting smaller. Are we losing Latinos here in Middle Tennessee? From Montgomery County to Davidson County, like Antioch used to be all little restaurants and stuff, and it just seems like there's less. Are they leaving and going somewhere? Are we losing them?
All right, good question. What about the numbers? I haven't even asked you that. What about the numbers? He's asking about Middle Tennessee.
The last census just came out, and of course, the percentage went up, and I was looking at the numbers, and we went up across the state of Tennessee. Actually, we got all 95 counties in the state of Tennessee have Hispanic populations. And I was looking at it, and so the population growth has been phenomenal. In Knoxville alone, they had the highest percentage growth rate there is 78.2. And then, of course, Nashville's were, and then Knoxville at 77, and Clarksville actually grew at 56.7. So it's growing all across the state. The population is growing. We estimated that 25 to 50 Latinos are turning 18 a day and able to register to vote. Our population numbers went up, especially in Nashville. And you talk about this, I tell people this all the time, I am totally against illegal immigration. So I'm not naive to recognize there's two populations where you talk, you can bring them all together. But I know there's those who are legal and born and raised here, those have been documented, and they may be the undocumented. But you put them all together, our population has actually grown. I talked to a builder not too long ago. He said most of the homes in Middle Tennessee and all the construction, we wouldn't have it if we didn't have the Hispanics working. And so, to the last caller, Joe, we're actually growing, and all the segments of the populations are growing here in Middle Tennessee. We are growing. We're at over 6.9 million now, and growing. And like I said, we're in every county.
6.9 million in the state of Tennessee? That's the population for the state.
No, but the total population. I'm saying the population is 6.9, and then but the population of Latinos is 340,000.
Yeah, the population of the state is like 6.9 million. Okay, and Latinos are about 300,000.
Yeah, okay. 5.1% of the population.
All right, 5%. When you were elected, it was much lower than that, right?
Yeah, much lower. I knocked on doors, and people say, "Oh, you'll be the Hispanic. You'll never do it." And I said, "Well, I'm not running as Hispanic. I'm running as a proud American veteran." But I got that at every door, regardless of it was nonpartisan at the time. And but here's the great thing about it. More whites voted for me. They didn't than anything. So they didn't vote for a Hispanic. They voted for a guy running for a race. And so, but of course, those numbers have changed dramatically here. I mean, we have, you see the businesses across the state and across our city is just growing astronomically.
All right, let's go to Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hey, hello. I've got a question for your guest. Do you believe the big lie? Do you know what the big lie is? I'm waiting.
Yes, I do.
The big lie is that Trump, the election was stolen. That's the big lie. Is that right? Is that what you mean, Tom?
Absolutely.
All right. So,
come on, buddy, answer up. Answer up.
All right. Well, that's Tom's question.
Well, Tom, do I believe in the big lie? I believe there's a lot of questionable things. There's a lot of things that are questionable, whether we're seeing it all across. And so I know Vice President Pence, and I know he's caught a lot of slack. And so here's what I can tell you. I believe there was a lot of questionable things. And so anything's possible in this nation. And do I believe in it? Surely I believe it could have been possible. And so to the caller, I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that. So yeah, I do believe it.
Well, couldn't you be here if, I mean, you could believe that Biden won legitimately and still be a passionate conservative and support President Trump or whomever if he ran again. You don't have to believe the election was stolen to be a passionate conservative, do you?
No, you don't. No, you don't. But just to the caller, I'm here because I do believe in what President Trump stood for. It seems like the last two callers, they were angry. They were angry voters. Well, just think how we feel in America right now. How we feel angry and we feel betrayed and everything. And so yeah, I do believe there's reason for questions, whether it was in Arizona, whether it was in Georgia, and whether it was Wisconsin, wherever it was. And even now, as they're clearing the roster, the voter rolls in Chicago, 20,000 plus dead voters. You can go on and on and on. And so, yeah, I can hear where he's coming from, but I'm a loyal voter. I stand on my word, and I'm going to continue to vote conservative.
That's fine. Yeah, Latinos, you would think, would care about democracy. We've listed a litany of countries they've had problems with democracy, and so if you have a candidate who refuses to accept the results of an election, is that not a threat to democracy?
Well, of course it is. Of course, because Latinos understand what socialism. And look what happened in Venezuela. I mean, Maduro lost, and he didn't accept it. But here's the truth of the matter. There was a peaceful handoff. Okay, and yeah, anybody would stand. I mean, could you imagine this? Obama won, and yet people were upset, and they said this. But let me tell you something. The majority of people that voted for Obama were white, and so we are a great nation. And so I believe in Trump. It's like I believe in this great nation of ours. And so here's what I would say: yeah, all those people that believe in Trump, they also believe that they've seen cheating. They've seen it where there's been an upside down, and we've seen it in our nation path. So that's why so that would even answer your question is, how do the people who come from a socialist country who have seen race is stolen, whether it's Daniel Ortega in Nicaragua, or whether it's down in Guatemala, or whether it's somewhere down in South America, so they understand the validity of why Trump stood the way he stood.
For people that care about democracy, that care about the legitimacy of elections, it seems dangerous if you don't admit when you lost. And
look,
that's the concern.
He said something very good. Let's say I get into a boxing match and it's a unanimous decision. But I think there was something wrong with it. He won, but I think I fought as hard, and I should have won. That's what Trump is saying. I fought hard. I did all I could. How do we know that one of those judges wasn't wrong? How do we know that something was wrong? That's all he's saying. And so Americans are still standing with him.
But the concern is that would delegitimize our elections. I mean, the courts have looked at it.
Yeah.
I mean, he can feel like, wow, I fought hard and I can't believe I lost. But then to say I don't accept the outcome, that's when democracy is threatened.
Yeah, I hear you.
And that would be the concern, I think, somehow.
And I hear those concerns, yeah, but like I said, I still believe, and that doesn't change my mind. I'm still going to vote conservative. I still believe whether he comes and runs again, and I'll vote for him, or whoever is that person that stands for the values I stand on.
Absolutely. And yeah, that shouldn't matter how you're going to vote in the future. It's a question of how do we conduct our elections going forward. But okay, I guess there we go. So let's go to Carolyn. Carolyn, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
I just wanted to say a few things. I appreciate the man that you've got on there tonight. I hope he still stands for Trump, because this man, Trump, had a beautiful life in a beautiful place, and he had all the money he needed. He had everything in life that made people happy. But he cared about this country so much that he gave up that beautiful life that he had. He worked hard, didn't even take a salary, and people put him down constantly. And the reason that we have a doubt about the election being crooked is because the Democrats are for people voting without IDs. Anytime I go any place to get medicine, any place that I go shopping, they want to see an ID. Why do the Democrats, if they want an honest election, why are they so set on people voting without an ID? That's what I want to know. I believe the election was stolen, and I don't believe that Trump had anything to do with January 6th because he called for peace. I heard him say it twice, for people to leave in peace.
When did he say that? When did he say that?
He said that twice during his speech. When he told people to leave and to go home in peace, he said it twice. And he never called for people to come there and stir up trouble. That was just some troublemakers. I wouldn't doubt that the Democrats didn't put somebody up to going and doing all that to make Trump look bad. But I don't know why.
Do you think that was? Do you think that was Democrats who were carrying the Trump flags and doing that?
I do believe that that could have happened. Yes, I do believe that.
Okay.
They are so mean-spirited. They are so mean-spirited. They hated him so much. They tried everything that they could. And one reason why they hate Trump so much was because he is pro-life. He is pro-Christian. He is pro-Israel. They don't like that. The devil doesn't like that.
Okay, Carolyn, thank you. Thank you for calling in. All right, we have to go to break, but I want to let you, I'm sure, what do you think? Respond in a minute or so if you can. Go right ahead.
Well, I just think I hear what she said. You got those that support and those that believe, and I do remember when the president was trying to bring the peace to the situation. So, yeah, and whether we find that old clip or whatever. Here's the important thing is that we still got a president now. Okay, whether people say he's legit or not, President Trump did it good for our nation. We can look at all the good and all the bad of every single president. Here we have two callers who were totally upset, and so here she is supporting. So we got a lot to talk about, and we can take this conversation either way, my brother.
Yes, that's true. All right, well, thank you, Carolyn, for calling in. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll take more calls right after this.